Hey y'all, let's talk Mercury retrograde and how it is going to impact us. All right, so I know that's just a big buzzword, right? It is a word that we are all terrified of when we talk about astrology because we're like, oh my God, Mercury retrograde, everything's gonna be in whack. I'm gonna be feeling super chaotic. Nothing's gonna be making sense, but calm down. I am here to share with you that Mercury retrograde is not the end of the world. It is not as horrible as people make it out to be. And I'm really gonna dive into what it really means, how can you prepare for it, and additionally too, how can you take the time during a Mercury retrograde to really introspect and allow the self to become better once it's over. Now, a Mercury retrograde is when the planet Mercury appears to be rotating in the opposite direction that it does normally. And knowing that Mercury rules communication, intellect, social interactions, all of those good things, those areas of our life start to take a different type of influence. This is why during Mercury retrograde, everyone in the workplace is like, oh my God, why isn't the printer working? Why am I missing all of my meetings? Why is my boss being a dick? Those types of things happen during Mercury retrograde because that planetary influence is now thrown out of whack. We're not getting the same support from it as we normally do, and we're kind of left to our own devices. Now, this upcoming Mercury retrograde starts on May 29th, so very, very soon, and it goes through till June 22nd. What's interesting about this retrograde as well is that it's in the sign of Gemini. Because Gemini is the natural ruler of Mercury, right? They're ruling signs, ruling planets. They are sisters. They love each other. This is gonna be an extra special time, I guess you could look at it, from a Mercury retrograde perspective, right? We're gonna wanna be more aware of our communication, more aware of our thoughts, being able to discern the differences between what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and how we're communicating, and also too, what we're going after. So let us dive into some quick tips on how to make sure that you don't get absolutely wrecked by this Mercury retrograde. Now, the first tip I wanna recommend is do not text your ex or respond to them when they text you. No, absolutely not. They're gonna be coming out of the woodwork. They're gonna wanna be like, hey baby, how you doing? Let's get some dinner. No, absolutely not. Your ex is an ex for a reason, right? And just because Mercury retrograde is happening doesn't mean that they have the authority or the ability to crawl back into your life. We do not want that. The second tip I'm gonna recommend is to be patient. Be patient with your coworkers, be patient with your partner, be patient with your Wi-Fi, but most importantly, be patient with yourself. You're gonna be making mistakes. You're gonna say things the way that you didn't intend them. You're gonna be thinking obscure thoughts during this time. And that's to be expected, but it's also okay, right? It's okay to allow the self to be in a little bit of a funk, right? We don't all have to be perfect. Something that I love doing during the Mercury retrograde, because it forces me to be patient, is I create a list. I write down every time that I get pissed off. Every time. It could be missing the subway. It could be having to wait to cross the crosswalk on the streets of New York City. It could literally be that I just woke up late or I'm running late. But it could also be more substantial things, right? Like I get in a fight with my boyfriend. My friend and I are going through some sort of scuffle, anything like that. I try to write down all of them. And then at the end of the retrograde, when I'm in a clear mind and have a clear heart and I've had time to sit and reflect on all these things, I can then say, okay, this was just me being a petty bitch. Okay, this was actually something that now I need to address and deal with. It forces you to be patient with yourself and really make sure that you're not reacting to things and that you're taking more time to pinpoint any sort of trends in your life that need addressing. And the last thing that I want you to do during this Mercury retrograde is to take a breath. And remember that despite all of the chaos going on in the world, that there's still so much beauty, right? Anytime you're feeling frazzled, just put everything away, go for a walk, be with nature, take a nap, anything that's just gonna allow you to separate. And remember that life isn't so serious that we have to be butthurt all the time, right? Just allow the self to just be grateful for existing. And despite all of the chaos that might be happening in the background, you're still there and you're still getting through it. So those are my hot takes on Mercury retrograde, right? Taking this time and this opportunity not to be in fear, but allow the self to be in control of what is to come and how it might impact us is the most important thing. So I'm sending all of you so much love and so much preparatory good energy, good vibes coming out to all of you to make sure that you do not get hit by a semi-truck of chaos that is Mercury retrograde, and that you are actually making sure that you are manifesting the best sense of self during this chaotic time.